Hello everyone. So in the last video we started to talk about dependencies because when we try to learn Spring Boot, when it comes to Maven or Gradle or any project. So currently our project is a Maven project. So any project we talking about dependency is something very important because dependencies are none other than, like, let's say you are going to you are developing a Spring Boot application and you are going to add a new feature. Let's say you are going to add a database connection, or you are going to do something else. So initially when you generate the project, you generate it with some basic features. Let's say you wanted to develop a Boot web application, so you wanted to add a dependency of Spring Web. That means Java or Spring Boot or system knows is going to use some Spring Web related things. So when you use annotations, when you use things this and that, those kind of data can be, or things can be accessed from that dependency. Okay, so let's say when you are adding this and when you build the project using Maven clean install, or there is another way to do this, like you can reload these projects. When you're doing these kind of things, these dependencies will download the necessary things, tools, library, jar, or anything that is needed to work with that particular web application. For example, you are adding Spring Web as a dependency. So when you are when you add this Spring Web as a dependency, what happens is when you build the application, the system or the application will create necessary things or features that is needed for that particular web application development. For example, in another word, we can say like this: if you are using the REST controller annotation, or if you are going to use get mapping annotations, these are not in the basic Java. Okay, how these became acceptable keywords in the programming in this application? Because of that, you added that Spring Web dependency here. You added this so that the dependency will download or take all the necessary details or data, things that is needed for web application, and instruct them for the application or code, or keep somewhere. Okay, so when you go for these annotations, these will be available in the application just because you added the particular dependency. Okay, so what is this POM and all those things? I will show you something. You may remember when we started this application, we went to Spring IO, right? Went to Spring IO and we went to the Spring IO home, right? So if you click it, you will see the Spring IO home, Spring home, right? And we went here and we started with the Spring initializer. Okay, so then we selected Maven and we added some dependency, right? So for example, we added Spring Web. Okay, and you just generated the file and you just opened the project and you started working on that. But behind the scenes, what happened was, when you are generating this project, a POM file will be created. That means a file named pom.xml will be created inside the project directory. So basically, you can see the POM file here. So in our directory, in our application, when you expand it, you will see a POM file here, right? So this was generated the moment you generate the Spring application. Okay, we never looked into that because this was not needed at the initial point. Okay, so now back to the Spring IO website. So when this is how I generated, right? So I added this dependency here and I clicked generate, right? Instead of that, what I can do is, if I want to see how the POM file is generated, I can click the explore. Okay, if you click the explore, this will show you the structure of your POM file, where the dependencies and everything are there. Okay, so if you scroll it down, you can see there's a XML tag called dependencies. Within that, number of dependencies are there. So there are two dependencies are there. Okay, dependency 1 and then dependency 2. So one is the Spring Boot starter web and the other one is Spring Boot starter test. So that, what does it mean is, when you generate a project with Spring Web dependency, these two dependencies are added related in regard to that. Okay, so these two dependencies are enough to develop a Spring Boot application, web application. Okay, so I wanted to tell you again. So let's say while you are keep developing the application, you want to add a database scenario. Okay, you want to add something related to MySQL. You want your application to communicate with MySQL or things like that. So you have to find the respective dependency, and you have to add that dependency again when in the initializer. Okay, so if you add that dependency, okay, let's say I'm adding a dependency called let's see, MySQL is there now. See, MySQL driver, it is a dependency. So this dependency may help you to your application to write code that can connect to MySQL database in your local. So I have added that dependency, and I can explore my form file. Okay, my bad, it should be a Maven project. I will do it again. Okay, I'll make it Maven, and I will add MySQL. Okay, so I will explore it, and I can see in my POM file this. See, I am having two. Now I am having a few three dependencies, right? One is Spring Boot framework and Spring Boot starter test. Along with that, I have one more. The third one is MySQL connector. How this came into the project POM file? Because in the project I added this dependency while I'm creating. So my POM file will look like this if I added that MySQL dependency. Okay, so let's say initially when we generated our application, okay, we added only Spring Web dependency because we always wanted to create a controller with an API. So due to that, we had this and these dependencies, only two dependencies was automatically created in my POM file. But with time, I may think, okay, I need database connection, so I need MySQL related something to my application to write such relative code to that. To write code related to the MySQL, I need the dependency related to that. So I wanted to add it again. Okay, but I cannot regenerate my project. What I can do is I can copy this particular dependency related to MySQL, and I can post in my existing POM file. Okay, like this in the middle. Okay, like this. Okay, I don't know why I'm not able to paste it. Am I recording now? Yeah, still doing. Okay, so I will try to do it again. So I can paste it here. Okay, so if I paste it here, and if I build my project again, so this particular dependency related things, libraries or anything will be updated or downloaded to my local, and I will be able to write code that can or keywords or things that is related to MySQL connection. Okay, this from this library, that code that availability will be there. I can write code with that, write MySQL related code without any errors. If there is no dependency, this dependency is not added, and I'm trying to write the MySQL related code, the application will tell me this is an unknown keyword. These are unknown words to me. I don't know what it is. Okay, so adding a dependency is important in that condition. So by creating the project, we are not aware what are the dependencies we will need in future, because future we may think, okay, I need database connection, I need this, that. So at that time I need to manually come to my POM file and add dependencies. Okay, so that we can develop application with new features. So that's all actually it is. So if you want to find relative dependencies, you can go to the Spring Initializer and add the dependency. Okay, you can always go to the Spring Initializer, add the respective dependency, just for your purpose. What you can do is, for if you want a MySQL dependency, okay, you can add it here and you can explore it, and you can find, okay, if you have some kind of knowledge, you can find, okay, this is the relative dependency, and you can simply copy it and you can post it in your POM file, and you can build it so that that part of it, that aspect also added in your project. Okay, so why I am talking this much is, when we are going to bring our project to the next level by handling the databases, by adding MySQL or database connections, repositories, we have to add some more dependencies, related dependencies, so that when I am doing it, you should know what we are doing. Okay guys, so I'll meet you in the next video.